Frankie Edgar, what's up? It's Adam Hunter, Weendog, and the Greg Wilson. You're on the MMA Roasted podcast.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
Dude?
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
I'm going to your fight. 2 weeks. I got my tickets. I can't wait, man. The first time I'm ever going to see you fight live. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Make sure to put on a show for you.
Dude, have you ever not put on a show?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't doubt it.
Has there ever been a fight where you did not put on a show?
No, I don't think so. But just want to reassure you, you're gonna money well spent.
I can't wait, man. Now I was looking forward to you versus Holloway, which I thought was a really good matchup for you. I thought Holloway is kind of long body type, and like I just thought it was a really good matchup for you. Now you're fighting Ortega. How much did you have to switch training and kind of prepare for him?
I mean, not too much. He's kind of a long-rangey guy himself. His specialty is more on the ground, but Holloway's no slouch on the ground too. And I mean, Holloway's jiu-jitsu is probably, MMA jiu-jitsu is probably just as good as Ortega's. So I'm definitely preparing the right way, and little adjustments, little things that Ricardo and Mark, my coaches, have me doing, but we're gonna be ready. Nice.
Now, when Holloway dropped out, what was going through your head? Did you think the fight was going to be canceled? The event was going to be canceled? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was upset. Obviously we were supposed to get down in December. I got hurt, and then he gets hurt. So I was bummed for quite a bit. But I didn't know if the fight was going to be canceled. They were talking about the whole event getting canceled and whatnot. I just wanted to make sure I got someone to get to get in there with. I haven't been in there since May, and I'm itching to get in there and showcase some things I'm working on.
Now I know that Cody No Love kind of said, "Hey, put me in there." Was that a real consideration? Was that close to happening?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know, man. I think he just threw his name in the ring. I didn't care. I didn't care who it was. I told my manager, listen, I just make sure I'm still fighting. I want to get in there. I want to make some money, and I want to fight. It's been too long. But I think Ortega made the most sense. Number 3, I'm number 2. So let's figure this out.
Have you been watching a lot of Ortega's tape and like figuring out what he does right, what he does wrong?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not much of a tape guy. Too much. My coaches, I'll let my coaches do that, and then they tell me, in practice what we want to work on, what we want to, try to utilize, what we want to stay away from. But I definitely sit down and watch a little bit. They kind of force me to. I'm not the biggest tape guy. Right.
No, I mean it's gonna be a great fight. Ortega obviously is undefeated, young, hungry, but you've been there. I mean, this guy, there's nothing you haven't seen in there. So are you as motivated as you've ever been?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm always motivated. No matter what's on the line or whatnot, I just want to win fights, and I want to make sure I go in there and do my job. My job is to go in there and get my ham raised. So. I feel like I'm always in the gym. I'm always trying to improve from fight to fight. I'm trying to be a different fighter than I was the last time, and that's what I try to do.
I got to ask you. I mean, there've been so many fights where you've just been like rocked, hurt, where you're like, oh shit, and then there's something in you that just keeps going. Let's take the Jeremy Stephens fight for a second. Stephens had you kind of they say on Queer Street. Now, what's going through your head when you get rocked like that?
Man, when I got rocked to Stephens, I was like, damn, it was a hard punch. And then in between the rounds, I seen it was a kick. So I'm just thinking like, all right, let me get my bearings about me and get back to it. I wasn't rocked too bad. He definitely, rung my bell. But I've been rocked worse in some fights. Luckily, he didn't catch me completely with the kick. Kind of caught me with his foot.
Now, like the Gray Maynard fight, like that fight, because what is it about you that just doesn't quit? Is there anything in your head going, stop, or you're like, fuck it, this guy's gonna have to kill me?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, man. I don't like intentionally say, all right, I want to go in there, and no matter what happens, I'm gonna keep going. I just think it's the pride that I got in me and my competitiveness. I still want to win, and if I still have a little bit in me, I'm still gonna try to win and do what I gotta do to make sure I don't get put away.
No, those fights, those were amazing. By the way, you have a son and a daughter, right?
I have 2 sons and a daughter.
Now, is your daughter the oldest?
No, my daughter's the youngest.
All right.
She's 3, and I got a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
I found out a couple weeks ago I have a daughter on the way. Any parenting tips?
Oh man, it's a fun ride, and you just don't know what to expect. Man, these kids kind of throw you for a loop every day. There's something new you're going to learn every day, so you got to kind of learn on the job. That's what it is. Because I think every day's different.
Now, initially, I kind of wanted a boy. I'm not going to lie. My wife wanted a girl, so hopefully it'll be a lesbian. Now, how do I now? Do you have your daughter do wrestling and jiu-jitsu? Because my wife's she's like your wife. She's like a very girly girl, and she's all about dresses and wants her doing, dancing and gymnastics. What are you doing to make sure that your daughter's tough?
Yeah, I'm definitely not. She's staying away from wrestling mats. I don't want her to give her any boys on the wrestling mats. But when she's old enough, I think pretty much in the next year or two, we're gonna get her in jiu-jitsu for sure.
Okay. Are you? Do you hold pads with her?
Not yet. She's still a little young. She's 3, you know what I mean. But my boys, I do, and she's a toughie though. She likes to. She's got to survive in this household with my 2 boys. So she's kind of getting training on the job, just being the younger sister.
Imagine imagine being like this girl, in 20 years, being this girl's boyfriend, and you got to come home to Frankie Edgar and the 2 older brothers. She's and like his wife's tough too. His wife's like a hot Jersey girl, but can scrap.
Yeah.
It's just it's gonna.
Yeah, we don't play. We ain't playing.
Yeah.
We ain't no boyfriends for a while, so we ain't got to worry about that.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about some of the fights coming up. So Ferguson, Khabib. Who do you like in this fight?
I'm pretty friendly with Khabib. We obviously have the same manager, and he's just phenomenal fighter, man. I don't think there's many people like Khabib out there. He's just so good at just dominating dudes on top. It's interesting though, because Ferguson's no slouch himself. Very unorthodox striking. Got crazy gas tank. Very versed in submissions. His wrestling's not bad, but I'm going to lean towards Khabib on that one.
Have you trained with Khabib? Like roll with him and stuff?
I rolled with him one time, probably a couple years ago, and he's as strong as everybody says he is.
Wow. Now, do you like rolling with guys that you might potentially fight?
If it happens, it happens. Khabib's a different weight class than me, but I definitely bring. Throughout the years, I brought in a lot of guys that I could have potentially fight. So, you got to make sure you got the right people to pair for, and sometimes those are guys you could fight down the road.
Could you make 35 if you wanted to?
I think I could. I just don't know. I don't think it's necessary right now. I'm not about being the best weight cutter in the world and being the best dieter in the world. I want to be the best fighter in the world. And
that's great.
That's why I like fighting at 55 and 45. I kind of made the transition just because I thought it was right for me. But I still don't cut much weight for 45.
Yeah, but you don't think that you could get the belt at 35, 45, and 55 and be the first 3-division champion?
Well, I'm trying to get 45 down pat first. Once we get the 45 pound, I guess we'll revisit the comment.
Because that would be amazing. I think you could do it. Honestly, I know you can do it. I mean, how do you think you would do against Khabib or Ferguson?
Listen, I think I compete with anybody. I believe in my skills. I'm down with anything, but I'm worried about 45 right now before I think about any other weight class.
So we're going to say Frankie Edgar called out Khabib
and Ferguson.
Now
says he could take anyone.
Yeah, anyone.
And Conor.
And yeah, by the way, is Conor coming back? What do you think they should do with Conor?
Oh man, I don't know. If he don't come back, I wouldn't be surprised. But if he does come back, I wouldn't be surprised either. I do think he's a competitor. I know he loves the attention, loves the limelight. And I'm sure he'll get bored of not being mentioned too long, and try to get himself in the news again. And the best way to do that is by fighting.
But what do you think about the way that because I'm obviously a big MMA fan, big UFC fan, but there's a part of me that loves okay, Frankie Edgar, like you said, you're fighting the number 3 guy because you were the number 2 guy, and then for the 1 guy, or Ferguson and Tony, and I like that. That's all makes sense to me. But then they start putting in Bisping's out for 5 years, comes back and fights for the title at 85 and wins, but then he retires. And now they're going to have, CM Punk come in. And now they're saying, well, if Nick Diaz comes back, maybe he'll fight for the title. Don't you think that kind of ruins the credibility of the sport?
I think it does a little bit. It takes away from the legitimacy of belts and whatnot. But, it is entertainment business, and people want to see certain fights. People want money fights. I know champions want money fights, and sometimes it's maybe not the best guy. It's the most popular guy that's going to get them that money fight. And it is a business, But I'm kind of old school, and I think the rankings, would probably be the best way to go. But I get it on both sides. I get it from the fighters that want to make the money. I get it from the promoters that want to make the money. So you got to look at it from both sides.
But then you see guys like Colby Covington, who I'm a big Colby Covington fan. He's a friend of mine. But then he goes out there and says Brazilians are all filthy animals and all this shit. and then because he's doing that obviously to get people to pay attention to him. But then next thing you know, it's now he's a caricature of a fighter versus, because if he wasn't doing that, well, you only have 15,000 followers on Twitter and you're never going to fight for the title. You understand? It kind of ruins it.
Yeah, no, I know that the whole money fight era is kind of making people kind of, try to make these characters almost like it's the WWE and everything, and having these promos and this and that, and and some people just aren't that good at it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Connor kind of changed the world of that, I think, for everybody, but he's actually good at it. A lot of these guys kind of sound lame to me.
Yeah, man, I hear that. I'm a Colby fan. I don't agree with Brazilians are all stinky animals. I don't think he needed to do that. There were other things he could have done that would have been just as effective as that.